and I will put out some follow-up tweets and a message to our Slack channel, letting everybody know they can join. This is probably going to be even less frequented than our regular shows, as people have the later hour kind of scheduled into their days. I don't know, Nick, how did the live show go with Evan? That was even earlier, 7 a.m. Were there people there?
Yeah, there were a few, I think. I think it got up to like, I can't remember off the top of my head, maybe like around 20.
Okay. And so we have, it's 9 a.m. Nick and I are co-located, not in the same house, but in the same time zone. Anthony, you got 11 p.m. your time? End of your day? Oh, you're muted. Oh, hang tight. Sometimes QuickTime Player recently has been screwing with people. Like
Let me check if mine is okay.
You sound good. Yep.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
Oh, he wants back in. I have to let him back in. I'm over here trying to send out a Slack message. I let him in, and then he's gone again. And Patak, do you work at Stackblitz?
Yes, I recently joined.
Okay, cool. I saw that in your Twitter bio, but I wasn't sure if it was like you worked there or what.
I'm working there, but like I'm working now full time on Vite and the ecosystem. So like they are kind of like sponsoring me.
You're sponsoring that work.
Yeah.
Cool. That's happening more and more lately.
It's great.
Yeah. Our good friend Zach Leatherman just went full time on Netlify, or not on Netlify, on 11D for Netlify. That was super cool.
Awesome for the 11D community.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and Rich Harris also joined Svelte to work full time on Vercel, sorry, to work on Svelte.
I did the same thing. Well, the other way around. I said he's working on Netlify full time. He joined Svelte. Yeah.
To work on.
Tiring,
he's going to build Vercel then.
Yeah.
It's going to take him a while.
Yeah, that is cool. So did you start at Stackblitz? I'll probably ask you this on the show as well, but did you start there to work on that product and then transition to Vite, or did they hire you to work on Vite?
Directly they hire me to, because Vite is in their like critical path. They are going to use Vite a lot, and there is kind of a lot of synergy there. So
that's awesome.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great.
So we're all good. I'm putting out a quick message to our Slack channel. I gotta re-grab that YouTube link. It's supposed to be in my clipboard history. There it is. Any questions while we are still pre-show here? Or anything specific you want to talk about that's not obvious?
There's a lot to talk about.
Excited.
All right. I have done the Slack message. I'm going to post a tweet just to let everybody know that we are now live. Then we'll get started. Actually, I should confirm that we're live because I didn't actually. I assumed it worked. Yeah, we are. Cool. Excellent connection. All right. All good. Let's have a party, y'all. Here. We'll start the music. There it goes. Hello, friends. It is Jerod, and I am here for another JS party. You know, we did a show on Vite, and then we decided, hey, Vite, let's talk more about Vite, because, you know, Vite means quick. I'm going to talk more about Vite, so we're here to talk more about Vite, specifically Vitest, and some other cool stuff going on. And my co-host today is Nick Nisi. What's up, Nick?
Ahoy, hoy. How's it going, Jerod?
It's going very well. So you were on the Evan show, and now here you are. So you are our Vite expert at this point.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Well, maybe not total expert, but
No.
we brought a couple of experts on to talk to us about these things. And we are joined today by Anthony Fu. Welcome, Anthony.
Hello, and yeah, I'm Anthony.
Good to have you. You're a core team member of Vue, Nuxt, and Vite, and also the creator of Slidev and other cool tools. So that's quite a litany of things you're up to.
And thanks.
And we also have Matias Capeletto with us. He goes by Patak. You may know him as patak.dev at his website, and Patak on Twitter and elsewhere. Welcome to the show.
Hey, really nice to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Great to have you. You're also a Vite core team member, a Vue team member, and you work at StackBlitz, but you don't work on StackBlitz. Do you want to tell us about that situation? Pretty cool.
Yeah, I joined like a few weeks ago, and like I'm working now full time on Vite and the ecosystem. Vite is kind of in the like critical path for StackBlitz. They are going to use it a lot, and so like, yeah, it's pretty cool like to be able to spend more time in open source now.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a growing trend in our ecosystem. We have full-time open source maintainers sponsored by corporate backers, and you are another one added to that list. We were just talking before the show that our friend Zach Leatherman also recently went full-time on his front-end static site generator 11D, working at Netlify. He already worked at Netlify, but now he's not going to work on Netlify. He's just going to work on 11D full-time. And that's super rad. So congrats to Zach and to 11D, and really to all of us, right? Like when that happens, I feel like the whole community wins. Don't you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So y'all work on Vue things, Vite things, lots of things. Anthony, you also, just want to embarrass you a little bit, were recently ranked on the State of JS 2021 as a person who people read, follow, or want to highlight for their work. 137 people put your name in. I think it was a write-in, wasn't it? So they actually like had to go out of their way to write your name in. How'd that feel? That had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of like really like flattered to see this. So like I totally like unexpected to see my name there, and yeah, just like I don't know how to say. I just want to thanks for all the people that are supporting my work and also like put my names inside of the survey. Yeah.
That is super cool. And I'll also say, to pat our own backs a little bit, JS Party, the second most listened to podcast in the State of JS survey takers, up from number 4 last year. So that's a big win for us. And Anthony, who knows, maybe in 2022, you'll be even topping that list of people that are helping other people out. That would be cool. But I'm
Wow.
sure just to be mentioned is quite an honor.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, so we're going to talk about Vitest. This is a project you all both work on. But first, we'd like to know how you came to be core team members on Vite and all these various Vue and Vite related projects. We'll start with you, Patak. How did you get involved with these projects?
So actually, like Anthony has a lot to do with it because after I was working in a project and starting to contribute to Vue use. That is a project from Anthony. And he was kind of amazing in how he managed open source and contributions. So it kind of like started there, and I wanted to like get more involved because there was a very good response from the other side. And I got to contribute a bit to Vitpress, and then like starting to contribute to Vite when Evan was finishing the Vite 2 version at the beginning of this year, like after a massive sprint that Evan did. So then I got involved I think at the right time, like when the Discord was created, like so there was a lot of community work to be done, and that I love to do that kind of the side of it, working with the ecosystem to like see that like all the integrations are working correctly. So I got more and more involved in that regard. And when Evan created the team, then like Anthony, me, and others were kind of like selected to start like it. Now they are, I think like 7, 8 people in the team.
That's quite a lot of people. So what is it about Vue, Vite, this ecosystem, this community of people that attracted you in the first place? Like, why are you hanging out with Anthony and Evan? And what is it? Is it the tech? Is it the people? What attracted you?
I think there are several things, like in particular the Vue community and the Vite community now, but also Vitest, and like they are very like collaborative, and like it's really great to work in these communities. And also like the tech, I started getting more involved in Vue because of like Vue 3. There was a lot of like when that was getting finalized, there was a lot of very interesting RFC that were being discussed, and like Vue 3 is amazing. So like I don't know, like it really attracted me that particular part. And then from there, like I don't know, like Vite, there is a lot to say why I was attracted to Vite. But
you're gonna hold it back. You're gonna make us ask. Well, let's tease that out and let's go to Anthony. So, Anthony, how did you first get involved with Vue and eventually Vite? What attracted you to this community?
Like, so like first, like I just like enjoying creating apps using Vue, and then like when the Vue composition APIs comes out, and it's in the RFC phase, and people are kind of arguing and like discussing with this, and then like there is a community plugin called Vue composition API. I think, like basically like it's the plugin that enables composition APIs in Vue 2. So like you can use at that times with that plugins. So then I create Vue use to like injecting some logic or like common composables to and libraries. So at that time I can think, okay, this is a good time for people to transcribe to migrate from Vue 2 and 3. So I would like to make it the migration easier. So Vue use is like to being compatible for both Vue 2 and 3. So in Vue 2, it relying on the plugins I just mentioned about. So, and at sometimes that there's a misalignment in Vue 3 implementations of the composition APIs and the plugin. So I create a pull request to it, but I think the maintainer seems like not really responsible for a few weeks or months. So I kind of think maybe I can take that job. So basically like it just the work is kind of simple to align the API design with Vue 3. So I created issues saying that, okay, I'm volunteer to maintain this project and have some list that I have contributed before. So then Evan come here and say, okay, that's great. And he gave me the permission to maintain it. And then I become the one of the member of the Vue team. So yeah, I think that's basically the here, and giving this like recognition from Evan, that's like really encouraged me a lot to like do more stuff with the Vue ecosystems. And also then like about the Vite, I think it's become like a bit natural. Things like if you build apps and the Vite experience is really great, so like we are kind of trying it out and really like it. So getting more involved with the community, and then like and then like I think it just becomes the team member of it.
What strikes me about this, and he's not here so we can talk about him. Last week he was here, so it's harder to say these things, but it seems like Evan's leadership is really on display. How he inspires people to come alongside, work with him, but also like, here's a new idea, here's a new thing I'm building, come build it with me. And then by the way, like, here's some ownership in terms of like agency, and why don't you like, whose idea was Vitest, and how did that core team, or you guys, tell us who all works on Vitest. First, I should say it's a blazing fast unit test framework powered by Vite. So there, Now we all know what we're talking about, even though the four of us already knew, but now we all know. That's what it is. How did you two come to work on that, and whose idea was it?
And I think this is like comes from a few team meetings. So this is the thing that Vite is kind of lack of to have a better integrations with Jest. So at that time, Jest doesn't provide async transformations and ESM support. So one of the other team members, Sodas, who is working on Jest Vite integrations that's trying to use Vite as a transformer of Vite, but like with the lack of the functionalities, it could be like really hard to do it. So in the team meeting of Vite, so like we are trying to discuss like how should we recommend user to use regarding of the testing. So just essentially like duplicate all the plugins or all the configurations you do in Vite. So like and if like you have a custom Vite plugin installed, but like you will also need to write the transformations for Jest in order to have the same behaviors when running the code. So as the results in the meetings that we kind of basically like cannot recommend any of the test runners at the current stage for Vite. So I think the only solution would be like the end-to-end testing libraries for example, like Cypress or testing runners, but that's not really unit testing. It's like fire up the whole browser and it will take a lot of your CI time. So then like Patak comes up with the name called Vitest. So yeah, Patak, maybe you want to talk about a bit how you come up with that name.
Yeah,
Excellent name, by the way.
yeah, that was like it's strange because like before that team meeting, where in this team meeting normally we are like it's bi-weekly and we are talking about all the features that we are like accepting or rejecting in Vite, like with Evan and the rest of the team. So we, as Anthony said, like we were discussing this, and like 3-4 months before that, I was using the Vitest name. Actually, when I was creating starters to test things in like PRs or in Vite, I will have in my local like folder, like I will name it Vitest, just because I will say Vite and test, and then like I started to collapse it at one point. And then when we were discussing this, I kind of like we had some notes, and I put Vitest with a question mark at the end in the meeting, and Anthony sees that, and in the other chat he goes like, who wrote Vitest, and directly goes and grabs the package name from npm that was like free, like it was strangely free because like Vite was for a long time there already, and so like the team meeting ends. And like Anthony disappears for like 3-4 hours and then get back saying, hey, I have a proof of concept. And like it starts already like please invite me. And I see that like it was already like kind of running test and everything. It's like doing some very Anthony thing there.
So in terms of the project itself, right there on the homepage, there's a big warning sign. Vitest is still in development. It says it's not recommended to migrate your current testing setups yet. You can try it out in new projects if you're willing to get involved and help us. And it looks like you do have a few other people on the team. Shout out to Aslamamad, Vladimir, and Ivan as well there on the homepage.
Yeah,
how long
also.
has it been in the works? Did I say that right?
Yeah, and Joaquin also. Like
and Joaquin. Okay, gotta get Joaquin on the website. I don't see. Maybe not done.
We need to update it then.
Very good. So, how long y'all been working on this? Sounds like it's ready, sort of, but migration's not currently recommended. What's the situation of the state of the software?
Yeah. So I think from the first line, it has been like 2.5 months, and yeah. So basically, like yeah, actually, like about the implementations, like this idea comes from a long ago. That when I was working with Puya, the leader of Nux, to like work with the integrations of Nux to use Vite as the bundler of or as the build tools of Knox 3. So the main problem is that when you do the server side renderings at dev time, it used to bundle the whole server app, and that things use the rollup pipeline, which is kind of inconsistent with the dev environment. So Puya comes up with the idea that use Vite as the kind of like the bundler. We call it dev bundlers. So basically, like we request, we actually mock as a server request to Vite to like transform all the modules individually, and then like contracting them into one single files, and then like so the node can execute it to render the result. So and then like I come up, maybe we can just skip the IO part. We can just like after we transpile the modules, we can just execute them right away. So I come up with the project called the Vite node to run, basically like to run some code or some modules with Vite transformations and then running in the node. So then it comes to Vitest. Then I think, okay, I can create a new test runners based on Vite. So I use Vite node as a foundations and to evaluate the modules. And yeah, so basically like it was the initial same, and then like we put the assertion library tries, and then I think it's called Signal for mocking, and also like the just snapshot, the package to mock with the snapshot features from Jest. So basically, like we kind of want to create a one-step test frameworks that I think other test test runners other than Jest doesn't provide. So for example, like you don't have snapshot features in Mocas or like AVA. So then I put up the repos and invite the team member of Vite and Patak with me to like help with the first integration, the first MVP of the test runners. So then at some stage, okay, that is the idea really working. So we kind of think, okay, maybe we can open it up for our sponsor to have early access to our code base, and that kind of being a little bit like sponsor aware, but like so when we reach a bit less stable parts, and then like we have, I think currently like we have 6 team members of it, and people like really contribute a lot to this project. So I think at the current stage, I can say that I think the experimental stage is more like I would like to keep it experimental, because like for some like features breaking changes, I would like to make it more well designed. So like I wouldn't be afraid to like, because this is stable, and I'm afraid to like introducing breaking changes, or like the great features would take a long time. So I think the current stage is that we just like want to make it for a while, for more space for us to make it better.
Yeah. There, like something else that is important is that this message kind of target like kind of the right crew. Let's say like someone that is, if they find an issue, is willing to go and at least open a proper issue with a reproduction in the repo, and maybe even go and dig in the code, get in the community, and like, and not exactly like someone that will like try Vitest and then send a like angry tweet because something didn't work correctly. Like, so maybe like in a few years, like, or even less, but I think that at this point it's important to leave that message there.
It's kind of like the Google move, you know, Gmail was in beta for like 12 years, right? It was a long time in beta, and it's like, well, hey guys, we're still in beta. This is like, hey, it's still experimental. Don't angry tweet us. But that doesn't mean it's not like perfectly usable for people who are ready to adopt a tool. So you're setting expectations, and you're also maybe guarding off less experienced or intrepid developers who are willing to dig in and help out, maybe.
I think that there, like what Anthony mentioned about the like how it started with a closed beta with the sponsors. I think that that was a very interesting stage, and it was important also because the people that joined were already this kind of crew, so they got involved. They were like really excited about like testing and like giving us feedback, and they actually, some of the team members are from that initial group. And then as like days went on, like we started to also invite people from the Vite ecosystem because it was very good if we had like people from Solid, from Svelte, from like all the frameworks to came and check that the integrations were working correctly. So that initial part, I think it was kind of important to like even like get a more like I don't know, like more time, like Anthony said, that like to cook it more slowly at that begin like initial months, let's say, of Vitest.
Should probably break right here. Call this a break. So everybody relax. Nick, you gotta hop back in here, man. I'm
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna ask if we like coming back into the segment,
Yeah.
maybe diving into the weeds a little bit on some of the tech in Vitest and like contrasting it to maybe like Jest to
Right.
kind of get similarities and pain points between them.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. Sound good, guys? You can throw Jest under the
quickly.
bus. Anybody need to step away? Or are we good to go? Everybody look like they're ready. All right, Nick, take us in to segment 2 here.
So thinking about Vitest and how it like I want to contrast it a little bit to another popular testing framework like Jest and kind of understand some of the differences and some of the similarities. Like, will it be? Is it pretty close to out of the box, supporting like a lot of the same features, maybe in different ways? But like, is there anything that you'll miss from Jest or that you get as an added benefit in Vitest?
Yeah, I think for the design of Vitest is like heavily inspired by Jest. So me personally, like I'm like really enjoying using Jest. So, but like yeah, it's just like a little bit like some like pain points that we had and we cannot solve it with at that times, or like we cannot like confidently like provide user to have a like a tool for us to choose to work with Vite. So, and like one of the features that I kind of want most that other than Just is the snapshot. So Just snapshot is really great. So like for people like me, it's like for I think I'm kind of like a really lazy guy. So I would like to write only the input, but not the output. I want the program to automate it for you, for me, and then like I can check if the result is good, and then like I can commit it. So that's the thing. So at that time, that's just this lack of the ESM support. Like some people like migrate back to mockup or for other test runners, but so then I can lose the capability of using snapshot. So this is the first thing that I kind of consider to have it inside of a Vitest. And so at the initially, like I just putting like libraries, like already mutual libraries together, and then like form with some like integrations. So I brought up the Just dash snapshot package, and I brought the Kai, and then like the signal. So and to have like integration to them. So then I kind of starting to migrate the test for view use from Jest. So as a process of dog fooding to see that what is lacking. So then I see, okay, the interface of the expect from Chai is not really similar to Kai to Jest. So like it would be like expected something to dot b, and then like you have the result in it. But in just you have like two equals or like to b. So
Mhm.
so that's kind of a subtle difference. But like if you have a large code base, you have to replace all of them, and some of them that's is not like really replaceable, like find and replace. You some of them you cannot do it. So I kind of think that maybe I can just create in utility functions that just rename the function to bound to that instance. So I kind of starting with some basic APIs that to match with the Jest API. So I don't need to change my testing code base that much. So I have a file called Jest compat and in our code base, and put in, I think there are only 5 or 6 functions, and I just leave there. So it seems like that's kind of all I need. So then like contributors comes in and then like to like fulfill all the, I don't know how many, but like maybe 50s. So those APIs to match with the Jest. So that would be really great. So like I think that also be the one of the great things in open source that like people can contribute and improve the software, or like
Absolutely.
so like you can have focus on different things.
Yeah, that's great. Another question that I had was, it kind of dives into the weeds a little bit of like the way that you traditionally run code before Vite, and then like with Vite. Am I understanding correctly that Vite is using like more native ES modules, and like that's one of the big differences in the way that it's doing its building and bundling?
Yeah, like during build, you can think of it as like an opinionated rollup setup. So that is like kind of like the traditional like battle tested setup. But during dev, we don't bundle anything.
Okay.
We just start the server, and the browser is going to start requesting first the index HTML, and from there like all the files. And Vite is a kind of a smart server that is going to automatically transpile your TypeScript, like JSX, and give something that the browser can actually consume. And as you said, like for that is using ESM modules directly natively.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess one of the questions that I have, and this comes up for me personally because whether we should or not, we rely on mocking in some pieces of our app for testing, and specifically like module mocking. Is that something that you can do with Vitest?
Yeah, we already support it. So
nice.
it's
The
actually
answer
like
is yes.
made by the team members, Vladimir. So he contributed a lot on the mocking side, and
Nice.
he working with the Homemade to create several projects. Like one is called Tiny Spy, and one is called Tiny Pool. So for us to like integrate, and I think that would be really great. So like our team members providing some package for us to make it Vitest also better.
Nick, give us an example of in your test suite when you would do module mocking and when it's useful. I'm not here to pick on you. I also mock things, so it's not. I'm fine with it. I think it's pragmatism and all things in moderation. So you can definitely shoot yourself in the foot, but there's got to be reasons why it's useful. When do you guys do it?
So an immediate example that comes to mind right now, we're actually doing a lot with XState, and so we have some components that are using like the use actor hook. This is a React project, by the way, but it's using that to get access to the instance of the XState machine, and then it's querying its context and its state values to determine how to render the component. In the tests, we kind of short-circuited that, and instead of like setting up the state machine and getting it into a particular state to like test everything, we just mock the use actor and have it return the exact state that we want it to be in for that test and the exact context that it has and things like that. And so that requires us right now effectively doing like just.mock xstate, and then we return like a mock function for use actor that returns exactly what we want. And I was curious how, like, not to dive too deep into the weeds of it, but like if it's using more like a native modules, like is that something that you can get into and like do that runtime replacement of when I import this, actually give me this?
Okay, so actually, like, it's a little bit complex. Things like the resolving
Uh-huh.
in Vite is different from Node. So things like in Vite is targeting browsers. So like everything is written from every import is rewritten into some URL.
Mm-hmm.
So like in Vitest, we trying to mimic this behavior. So like all the plugins can work exactly the same. So basically, like we will hijack your import, or like we will rewrite your import, and then like to do some sort of transformations from Vite. So for example, like since Vite supports TypeScript or like JSX, TSX out of box by ESBuild. So Vitest is also do. So like if you import a TS file, so we will send that files to Vite to transpile it,
Mm-hmm.
and then like to run the code inside of Node. And then like in that file, every import will be also like proxy to Vite to also like run that. So we have some sort of like externalization strategies. So like for some dependencies, we don't transform it. We just use the native ESM to import it. So like in Node modules, you don't expect it, like plugins to transform it. So we can just do that for performance.
Very cool.
So most of the Jest things there, of course, Jest expect compatible API. So very familiar to you if you have used Jest or using Jest now. You have Jest Snapshot, like you mentioned, Tiny Spy you mentioned. It really feels like batteries included kind of a setup. Even the built-in mocking, stubbing, and spies. Is that kind of stuff like very opinionated in terms of when you use Vitest, you're going to use these things? Or is it like, here's what we have set up for you to use, but if you don't like Tiny Spy, swap in your own mocking library? Or if you don't like just style tests, you like more unit test style, then swap in other things. Is it swappable or is it opinionated or both?
Yeah, I think some of them are opinionated and some of us are swappable. So for example, like for environment, you can use just DOM, or like there's an alternative called Happy DOM, which I think is smaller and performant compared to just DOM. So like you can choose, and also like we don't have the global import. So like for example, like in Jest, if you install Jest, you have it or like described everywhere. So we disable that by default. So like you are import that kind of the functions from Vitest, especially. So but like we also have options that called globals. You can just call globals to enable this to have a same behavior as Jest. And okay, and I think one thing that I would like to mention a bit is that things like we are using Vite, and with Vite we know the module graph of all your project and your dependencies. So we can actually to see that okay, if you change these source files, we know that how many tests is linked to this source file. So we can do like smart like smart watch mode, I guess. So it would be a little bit like the HMR, but for tests. So like when you change the source code, we know that's how which test should be run. So like we run them instantly. And things like Vite is on demand, we don't bundle your code. So with that, we only just retransform the source code you change. Everything else is stay the same. So it will be like really fast. And we made this by default. So if you run the test, it will run all your tests once, and then it will enter the watch mode. So it'll be like when you start up with the test or like Vite, it was fire up server and your console will hands and then point out the log of it. And we do a small trick is that we will check if it is running in the CI. So you can have the same command if it's running in the CI, it will just run the code and return the result with the process code. But like if you are dev, so like if you are in a terminal, you type it and the terminal is interactive, we will enter the watch mode.
Nice.
One thing there that I think that is like a massive advantage of Vitest, this thing that Anthony is telling about HMR, that is extremely fast because of how Vite works. And the feedback loop that it enables is really amazing to develop. In the same way that when you change, I don't know, like you change some colors and you can change it with like the slide and you see it how it is applied. If you have autosave on in Vite, you can like do that and you will have the same feeling as you have in the DevTools. So for test, this also kind of applies and you will have like the feedback right there. And later, like there could be work to integrate this more with like Visual Studio Code or your IDE. So like in the same way that you have TypeScript errors and your lint errors, and you should have your test errors right there as you code in kind of like a wallaby kind of experience. So I think this is really important and is part of the same philosophy that Vite is going for.
That's super cool.
That would be really nice.
Shut up and take our money.
Yeah, it's open
So-
source.
Yeah, I know.
Problem.
It's a meme. It's a meme.
Yeah.
An old one apparently. So what I think is cool about this and the tech, of course, is I like how the Vite team came together and said, like, what is missing from this ecosystem? And Vitest was the obvious thing that you all decided, like, okay, this is a thing that is worth us investing in a first party, official, what have you, from the core team solution to this particular thing. Are there any other areas in the world of what Vite's trying to do that are currently lacking, where it's like, okay, next up we are going to work on, now that Vitest is done, quote unquote done, is there anything else where it's like pretty clear that the Vite team wants to invest in another project of this similar scale that's currently missing?
I don't think that we should give Anthony more ideas until Vitesse is ready for taking out that message.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Like there are efforts like VidBook and like a kind of like a Storybook is also working on that. So maybe a Storybook will maybe start working on Vite. Cypress started to like use Vite a lot, and so like I don't think that the Vite team is the one that has to complete all these pieces.
Sure.
This in particular, as Anthony said, was really hurting adoption because it was kind of one of the main pain points that when people ask it, we didn't have an answer.
So in light of that, why not build it right in?
In where? Like in
Right
Vite?
into Vite. You got Vite. You got a full test suite runner right there inside of Vite. No need to
The thing is that the philosophy of Vite is trying to like be a small core and then have a like powerful plugin system like based on rollup. So the ecosystem like can do this kind of stuff that we are the ones doing it, but like it could have been others. And I think that is important because like maintaining Vite already is a lot of work. And if Vite core starts to take more responsibilities, maybe it's going to become unmaintainable.
Fair enough. I could argue both sides. I think that's fair. I think that's definitely fair. Anything else on Vite specific, or not Vite? Anything else on Vitest specifically before I change subjects on you guys? Do you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to mention is that even though we are not recommended to use it, like it turns out like there's a lot of people are kind of using it or like migrate from Jest regarding it. So
Right.
yeah,
I'm hoping to ignore that error pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not error, that message on the site.
Wink, wink.
yeah. And so like this so far that from the feedback we see on Twitch or like in discussions, like most of people like getting quite a lot like performance boost, and also okay, yeah, also like I think currently like Vue just switched the default version to 3, and also there's a new create view command, so it now has a Vitest preset, which is great. Yeah, so like yeah, so like if you do the create view npm, I think it's npm create view, right? So npm init view, and then like you can have a pop-up to select, okay, if you want to use Vitest. And yes, I also see that quite a lot of projects is already using Vitest to testing. We have a list in our website.
Yeah. And yeah, two also things that like things like Cypress, for example, is starting to also recommend Vitest because it plays nicely with their story of like using Cypress for like browser testing and then like Vitest for like node testing. And also like circling back to the beginning of the discussion about the state of JS, like these surveys, we have to take it with a grain of salt, but like Vitest was in the top of the interest chart, so that was kind of nice to see.
Lots of interest. Well, I mean, from the Vue and Vite core team and community out to the world, it's just been like high quality project one after the next. So, I mean, congrats to all you all for all the work you guys are putting into these things, and it makes sense why people are writing your names into State of JS, and people are interested in Vitest and in Vite because it's really cool the work product that comes from these teams. So I guess congrats to the entire community and to you two in particular for all your hard work, because it's really paying off, and I would say that the open source community really appreciates it. We can break right there. Since we lost Anthony, we'll call this a break.
Nice.
Good timing. Hopefully he comes back because Slidev, unless you want to talk about Slidev.
I can talk as a user, as a happy user of Slidev.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
I have to prepare a talk, like we can do it live if you want.
Yeah, a live talk prepared with Slidev. Yeah.
How many people are in the chat? In the live stream?
Let me see here. So, oh, he got lost reconnecting.
6.
Oh, there you go. 6. Wow.
Just an audience.
Yes, huge audience. Like I said. Although Danny Feliz on Twitter says, "Why is there a person there pretending to be Paytac dev?" Do you know Danny?
Yes.
He was watching.
Hey, Danny.
At one point.
They expect to see a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here comes Anthony coming back in.
Yeah, Vite and Vitest are very much on my radar right now for like migrating over. We did a hack week thing where we switched from Create React App to Vite, and then we were just still using like the old pipeline for running Jest and all of those tests. But Vitest would be part of that story to really get us over that hump and get going, because the speed gains that we got going from Create React App, it was like a build of our biggest project was like 2.5 minutes down to 22 seconds. Like just amazing.
Nice. Yeah, one thing that we didn't mention that is important also is like being able to share your config across build, dev, and test is really important.
Yeah, that's what kind of felt weird about like the POC that we did was like we're kind of running 2 different stacks here. We're testing in a little bit of a different stack than what we would actually be running the code in.
Yeah. If you see the dependencies that you're like grabbing also, like if you already have a Vite app and grab Vitest, it's mainly Vite, the main dependency, because it's already doing a lot of things. But if you grab Jest also, like it gets like all the universe of dependencies gets to you.
So Anthony apparently is here. He's like a disembodied spirit or something, because he can see and hear us, but
really,
we can't see or hear him.
The little user count in the top left keeps jumping from 4 to back to 3.
3 and 4. So I don't know if it's his internet connection is just waffling or what the deal is. But if we can't get him back, we could always end the show, and then I could hook up with him later at a different time and just do just a Slidev conversation offline. So we're not all, sitting here for however long it takes. And it's probably getting late for him. It's almost midnight too, so we'll wait a few more minutes and see what happens. But it was really good timing to lose him, because it was literally the end of that segment was just I was gonna end it anyways. So we're sitting pretty in that regard. Here he comes again. All right, let's go.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Loading,
Okay.
loading. Hey.
Hey.
So you were
Welcome
here,
back.
but we couldn't see you, but you could see us before.
Yeah, I think I have some connection issues with
Yeah.
real life. This happens before. But anyway.
Glad to have you back. Okay, we're gonna kick into our third segment. We're gonna focus in on Slidev. So Paytac, definitely still pitch in, especially as a user and stuff. Don't feel like we aren't also still talking to you, but obviously this is Anthony's
Yeah.
project. So
Go for it.
Cool. All right, let me get my notes back up. So next up, let's talk about Slidev. Now this topic was actually requested. Let me give a shout out to Adam Young, who requested to have you on the show, Anthony, to talk about Slidev. He says, it's an interesting app of web tech that I've never seen before. So this is presentations for developers. You want to give us the skinny on this project of yours?
Okay. I think this project comes from my kind of excuse to escaping from preparing slides. So so preparing slides is really a hard experience.
Yeah.
So
Every
and
developer
at
presenter
that
has
stage
that pain.
Totally.
Yeah, so right. So as a developers, you will have code in your slides, and some of them that the code might be a little bit long, and you want to emphasize highlight some of the lines when you are talking, and the highlight should move or something else. So I tried PowerPoint and Keynote and also Google Slides, and I think they are kind of good to making slides, but not very good for developers for some reasons. So for example, if you want to highlight your code, you cannot do that inside of either of these software. So you will need to either make it as an image. So you can as a snapshot, or I don't know. So or there's some service to highlight your code with inline styles of them. So you can paste them inside of notes, but then it comes to the highlight thing. So at that time, I kind of find a trick to have a square of the a little bit semi-transparent white, so that hover onto your code. So your code will become fade. So I will have 2 blocks inside of it. So I have a little gap. So at that gap, that code will be highlighted. So when I want to animate, I can move all, those 2 blocks up and down, so I can highlight my code. But that could be really time consuming, and if you want to change your code, you have to do all the process over again. So I kind of think, and so that's kind of my experience when preparing, I think, tech related code slides. So, and I think after 2 or 3 slides or talks, at the third times, I kind of think, okay, maybe I can make one using the web technology. Things that's what I'm kind of familiar with. So I can style with CSS. So I can animate them using code, using JavaScript, right? So I kind of trying to mess up with the Vite and use the Markdown to present the contents of the slides, and and I think that's kind of where the prototype from. So then like even though like I use these tools and the life is getting easier, but like creating content is still like a painful process. So when I like kind of being like tired to preparing a note, so I will like go back to the code of the Slidev to like add more feature to it. So something like that. So then I kind of add the features I want to record the slides, and also my times like some of the conference ask you to like recording them separately, so you have to record your face and slides separately, and that could be a bit like hard to configure. Like how do you do that? I still don't find a proper way to do. All I know is that okay, I have a really wide recording screen, and one is like my camera and one is my screen, and then I will do the post-processing to crop one video into two. So something like that. So I can search for the web APIs to involve with the cameras and the mic, and then I made the features that you can record your screen and face separately or like together, whatever you want, inside of the Slidev web app. So yeah, I think that's kind of the story. So like some more talk I do, maybe the more features Slidev will get.
That's the move. Everybody has to invite Anthony to keynote at their conference. And so he just line him up with talks. And so we would just watch
Thank you.
Slidev
Please
get
don't.
better and better. Well, it's the kind of tool that speaks directly to its audience. It's for developers. You land on the homepage. We should talk about your caution tape because you also do that here. I think it's a move of yours is saying, please, it's in heavy development, experimental, warning, you do not actually want to use this, which maybe that's some reverse psychology. It makes us all want to use it even more. We're like, I'm not supposed to use this. I'm totally going to try it. But the fact that it's just marked down right there,
Yeah.
and the separation of the content from the design, because we get so bogged down, like you said, when you're building these slide decks and you're trying to present your content, you're like thinking about what it looks like as well as what you're saying, and it just becomes onerous to produce that. But when you can separate them and easily, borrow some people's themes, just swap them in, change the themes, and like write your content in Markdown, which is what we're used to writing documentation and blog posts and darn near our notes on our to-dos. Darn near everything at this point is written in Markdown. Very attractive proposition. I think this is a tool that speaks to developers. Speaks to me at least. Nick, hey, Dak,
100%.
agree?
I have been in the same boat where I can't stand trying to get code to look right in Keynote, and I don't want to do that. And I am so familiar with Markdown and just love writing everything in Markdown if I can. Yeah. And this is just the perfect way to bridge that and just have it going. I've used tools like this before, including some that will like present directly in Vim, so I don't ever have to leave Vim. And that's really cool. Like being able to just parse that out into individual slides and then go back and forth. But this obviously does so much more, including the ability to actually run code. That
Right.
is pretty cool. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Oh, so like at that times I'm trying to do a presentations for Vue composition API. So like like the one of the core features of Vue is the reactivity. So you basically like maintain the relationship of your data. So like you can of your state, I guess. So like when you change some of the states, your view will change, and also like you can have some sort of like computed properties. So one properties or like one state is relying on other state. So like once you update the state, the computed will be changed. So this way you have a single source of truth, I think. So when I want to like present it, so in a reactive way, some kind of that. So like so I kind of think, okay, maybe I can use things like it's already a Vue app. Vitest is built on top of Vue 3. So I can use Vue components inside of it to do some like interactive. So like when I talk about these slides, I can click that buttons and maybe the number will bump to 1 or 2, or like it will change some behavior or like layouting thing. So this one I can make the slide like really interesting, or like to like more expressive to what I'm trying to talk. And also like this is what you got when you actually do it yourself to like create an app. So I can have part of your app or like part of the result inside of my slides. So which I think is great. And I also like one cool thing is that I could deploy the slides into a website. So so with that, so the audience could like to try out themselves. So I can have a playground, and you can see what your input would affect the result.
So many features. Export to PDF, PNG. You can export it to a single page app, like you said. Record the presentation. Presenter mode, drawing and annotations. Editor integrations. You must do a lot of talks, man, because you got lots of features in this sucker.
I was going to ask about presenter mode. How does that work? Presumably, you can have like the presenter running on like one screen, maybe, and then in another browser window, have the presentation view. Are they kept in sync? Is that, and how does that tech work?
So like basically like at the core of Vite, it uses a WebSocket to like do the hot replacement to notify the client that which module is changed and what components you should reload. So
Nice.
basically, I kind of reuse that WebSocket to like share between two instances of the web. So actually, like when you open up the presenter mode, it will be actually a same as your presenter, but like with a flag away. So like I can change the view differently. So with that, it will connect back to the server, and the server will pass this message to the slides. So when you press next slides inside of a presenter, it will like basically like sync between two instances. So with that, with the web tech, so like you can actually like have it on your phone. So if you can expose these servers to your local network, you can connect it inside your phone. So like you can use your phone to control your slides on your computer.
Nice. That's cool.
That is cool.
One thing there about like as a user, like that presenter mode was amazing to give a talk. Like it makes things so simple. Like you have all the notes there already. You can put the camera mode. You can like it was like I did a recording and like it was so easy to do it with it. So that's an amazing feature of the Slidev.
Well, and a open source project, like all of these things, and a way to get involved on this one. It looks like there are some official themes and some community themes, but if you have a design eye or if you want to practice your CSS skills, it sounds like a fun place to get involved would be to submit and create themes, because once they are out there and usable, you know, it's so easy to swap in between and pick your favorite theme. It sounds like a great way to get involved. Is there any other things that you're looking for with regards to Slidev and community support? Oh, just lost him.
Yes, he's looking for it.
Okay, the answer is yes.
Yes, he's always looking for it, and he's very good at taking contributions and working with others.
Awesome. Let me let's see what he says here. Let me just wait a few seconds. Drop a marker. Lost again. Hang tight. We do have a listener. And speaking of Danny, he's got a question for Anthony that I was going to ask. We're getting towards the end anyways. If we can't get him back, I'll just wrap it up and act like he's here. Thank both of you and end the show. We'll see if he can come back. Looks like coming back. Nope. Oh. Wait. Yay!
Okay. And can you repeat that again? So,
yeah, I was asking other ways of getting, obviously theme, write a theme as a way of getting involved, but like, are you looking for community support with this project?
Yeah, I think Like I actually like I think like people are already helping a lot, but like for me, it was actually like the project that I made for myself, and then like since it's in open source, and I think it's good to like open source and then people might use it.
Mm-hmm.
So and also like people contribute a lot of new things or features or bug fixes to it. So basically, like in current stage, I would think it will be into maintenance mode, I think. So basically, like you will see I working on it, you will see my you will see me like back to working on it when I starting to prepare another talk. So like yeah, currently
Gotcha.
like luckily I have no
Conference
talk
driven
currently.
development.
So
Conference-driven development.
yeah,
Okay, so it's pretty much done. Still
yeah.
experimental according to the website, but pretty much done. And may have some new features, but not really looking for heavy development support. Themes would be cool, but it's kind of a thing that you did yourself and open source. One last question for you. Coming in from the audience, Danny Felice asks, how can you be so productive? Does AntFu7 have a dozen developers committing to his account? Tell us some of your secrets, because you're prolific at this point. How are you so productive?
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe I can split into multiple ones.
That's also
Yeah,
my
but so
theory. That's also my
Okay.
theory.
All right. So we have some.
so for me I'm the number 7 of the Anthony. So maybe next time you will see in the other one.
That's why
So
you
like
keep dropping. It's a
multiplicity.
different one.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So like back to seriously, like I kind of think I don't know.
Don't know.
And yeah, I think I'm just like really enjoying working on things and like that. I think there's a lot of like different sources that driving me to it. So for example, like my sponsor to supporting my work and people on trade like I don't know, they are liking my work or having
Yeah.
thanks to me, or like thanks emails or have like some sort of events, and also like I kind of really enjoy doing things and to explore that something that there isn't there before. So I would like to see, okay, this one plus this one, what would be the combinations? And I think that's sort of thing. So yeah, I think that's kind of the thing that keep me doing it. So regarding of the like maintaining those projects, I think the main reason is that I have a like very great community behind. So like people are helping me out. So for Vitest, that we have a 6-member teams that I actually like have a couple. I have a week of holidays that the projects keep running very fast. So like the members are still maintaining the request and the issue and do the release. So I think similar to other projects like Vue we have I think it's 10-ish members, and we have many functions and also like many people to like contribute to new function to it. So I think that's it. So like basically like I think that's that's how like open source make me like really enjoying working with enjoying working on it.
Well, we're surely enjoying you working on it as well, because all of the fruits of your labor are enjoyed by many people in the community. To the both of you, I think these are really cool projects. Slidev, check it out, sli.dev. Vitest lives at vitest.dev. Of course, all the links to all the things, as well as where you can hook up with Paytak and Anthony on the internets, will be in our show notes. They both do open source. They're both sponsorable. So if you want more cool things from these two, definitely consider sponsorship as well. Fellas, any final words, Paytak, Anthony, before we call it a show?
Thanks a lot for the invite. Like it was great, and yeah, I think that like as Evan said, like you have to try it. So try Vitest, and like feel the difference.
Nick, anything to say before we hang up?
I would echo that. That's been my experience, and you will be blown away by how fast how fast your dev environment can be and your builds can be
And your test can be.
and your tests. Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody. So yeah, I think that's a great discussions.
Well, we really enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys spending time with us. Thanks again to Adam Young for requesting this episode. We do take requests, just like any good wedding DJ does. So head to jsparty.fm/request and let us know what you want to hear about on the pod. That is the best way for us to directly serve the audience by doing the shows that you all request. So we are happy to do that. We appreciate good ideas for shows. We appreciate all of our live listeners. This has been JS Party. I have been Jerod Santo. We'll talk to you all next week. All right. Well, we survived 3 or 4 dropouts.
Yeah.
But you came back each time. That's awesome.
And at the right moment, so
It was really
didn't matter.
good. Yeah. Paytat covered
Yeah.
for you on that last one. He answered the question on your behalf. Although he answered the exact opposite way that you did. He said yes. And Anthony's like, no. He's like, it's kind of done. No. But we'll figure out which one to air in the final product. The fill-in or the actual answer. So you guys can stop your local recordings there. I do want to say thanks to all of our listeners. Another shout out to Danny for tweeting a question while I happened to be waiting for Anthony to come back in. So I saw it during the break, which was kind of cool. And I liked the line that maybe I'm the 7th of the Anthonys. That was pretty good. That makes you a 7X developer. You know, not quite 10, but you'll get there eventually. Keep working at it. You'll get there. Cool. All right.